Good day, and welcome to Soft Skills, Strong Results, Practical Strategies to Master Interpersonal Communication. I'm your host, Charlie Krebs. In today's session, we're going to talk about the second kind of soft skills, cognitive soft skills. Remember, the first kind of soft skills were interpersonal, between people. The second kind are intrapersonal, meaning simply between me and myself. So let's get into it. Cognitive soft skills have to do with thinking. We all think, so it's something that we can improve on very easily. And thinking is really communicating with ourselves. Another way of thinking about this is self talk. We can self talk ourselves into or out of anything we want. It's what I like to call mental engineering the way that we think. Most of the time, when we think of communication, we think of interacting with other people. In fact, the COMM in communication, that prefix means with. So a lot of people think about communication as talking to someone or talking at someone, but in reality, communication is about communicating with people. This is critically important because our thinking prescribes everything in our lives, from how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about others, how we manage our identity, what we like about ourselves, what we don't like, what we're good at, what we're not good at, what we believe, and how we expect others to even treat us. They say that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000. That's an enormous number of thoughts. And about 3/4 of those are from the same thoughts we had from the day before. And about 3/4 of them are negative. I can't do this. I can't do that. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. So if we're thinking thoughts that we thought yesterday, we're going to think the same thoughts tomorrow. So we're not really going to change much. So if we want to change ourselves, we need to think differently. And we need to think positively, because if we start thinking negatively, I can't do this, I can't do that, then that's going to be our result. Was it Henry Ford that said, think you're right, think you can, or think you can't, either way that you're right. So our thinking really does prescribe everything like that. Managing your thinking is a huge soft skill. Your life is a perfect mirror of what you think. The way you look is a mirror of what you think about yourselves, where you are in life, how successful your career is, what your relationships are a perfect mirror for what you think about or how you think about people. So managing those thoughts can be an opportunity to make our lives exactly what we want. If you think you're a person that's simply bad at remembering names, and you think that's a description of who you are, it's not a description. It's really a prescription. So if I think I'm bad at remembering names, when I meet somebody and I hear somebody's name for the first time, my brain thinks I'm bad at remembering names, so it distracts me from even hearing that person say their name. So in reality, our thoughts are a prescription and a map of how we will operate in our lives. Our beliefs are things that we hold to be true, and we hold them to be true without proof or evidence. Now, some of them are conscious, things like I'm a good boyfriend, I'm a good cook. Some of them are unconscious, like I'm worthy, I'm loved, or worse, I'm not worthy. Some are rational. I'm a good speaker, I'm organized. And some are irrational. I'm a terrible friend, I'm always wrong. Those don't get us anywhere. We didn't choose all of our beliefs. Some of our beliefs were sort of woven into our fabric by our parents or our caretakers. Some were learned through experience. I'm pretty good at doing that. I'm pretty good at that. I'm not so good at math. Things like that. So we learn some of those things from experience. Some of them evolve over time. I remember when I was a wedding photographer, the first wedding that I photographed, I forgot the bride's name. And I always thought I was bad at remembering names. So I got this simple little book about memory. And it said the best way to have a good memory is to think you have a good memory. So I looked at it, and from then on, I never forgot another bride's name. So that evolved over time. Some are ideas or beliefs that we choose to change based on self-evaluation. I spend way too much time on social media. That's based on evaluation, and I can make a change like that. Beliefs steer our ship, and they're one of our most important soft skills. No one is in your head thinking for you. So we don't have anybody to blame for our thoughts or our beliefs or our expectations than ourselves. If you're thinking things, if you have beliefs that you don't like, it's your fault. Even if somebody taught you to believe those things, at some point you decided to think them for yourself. And so it was at that point when you should have said, I want to believe something different. And that's when you make a choice to believe something different. That's where emotional intelligence comes from. Emotional intelligence is about self-awareness, understanding and supervising my own emotions. In order for me to supervise them, I have to be aware of them. When did I get this emotion? What triggered that emotion? How is it causing me to behave differently? And do I like that? Is it something that I can harness? Is that an emotion that I want to harness and then use that to pursue my goals? Am I feeling especially self-motivated when this happens? So if I'm more aware of my emotions, I can use them to make things work better. Or I can stop letting them make things turn out worse. Emotional intelligence is also about understanding other people's emotions. Are they getting frustrated because of something? Did something happen in their life that caused them to get angry at me? Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's something that happened in their life. And if I can be emotionally aware of what's going on in their life, maybe I can just let it blow past me and say, you know what? They're frustrated. I understand that because, their child is in the hospital or whatever. But emotional intelligence has to do with watching over other people and seeing if their emotions are causing them to behave in a certain way. And are their emotions affecting how we interact? Emotional intelligence is certainly about active listening for their tone of voice, listening for what's in between the words, listening to how they feel. And then that's going to help us manage our social networks. If I want to fit into a group of people, then I have to be aware of what their emotions are. And when I'm feeling the same emotion that they are, it's perfect for me to join in. But if they're feeling a certain way and I'm not, I may not fit in. And I can't change how they're all feeling, but I may say, you know what? Maybe this social network isn't for me. Maybe these people blame a lot of things on other people, and I don't like that. So maybe this is not a good fit for me. Emotional intelligence affects our work relationships. It doesn't just affect us personally. It affects how well we work. It affects trust. Can other people trust me? It affects teamwork and leadership. So if we're in charge of our emotions, I can make sure that I fit in with the team. I can make sure that I don't let bad emotions adversely affect my leadership. Conversely, I can make sure that if I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling positive, and I'm feeling enthusiastic, I can let that infect other people that I'm leading. Emotional intelligence certainly affects our personal relationships. It helps us create deep connections with other people. It helps us develop empathy for other people, and it helps us get past disagreements. If I know that when my girlfriend says something, it bothers me, then maybe I just let it go. Let it go. Think about the things I love about her, not the things that make me irate. And it can also help our relationship with ourself. I can cause myself to have more self-esteem. If I manage my emotions well, I can focus on emotions that help me build up my self-esteem. It can help me manage stress, and it can help me feel more positive. Self-motivation is a great cognitive soft skill. It helps drive me. If I can drive myself instead of waiting on other people to get me motivated, then I'm going to be much more reliable. I'm going to be able to achieve my goals without waiting for somebody else to get in there and help me do that. I think we use the word motivate wrongly. We talk about the coach motivating the team. Well, the coach isn't really motivating the team. The coach is stimulating the team. The coach is saying this, the coach is doing that. Sometimes the coach yells at people. Sometimes the coach gives them a pat on the back. We think of those things as motivation, but they're not. They're really stimulating. When the coach does that, I'm the one that flips that motivation switch and says, I can give my best to this team and we can win this game. So really, we motivate ourselves. So I think all motivation is really self-motivation, and we need to be careful how we do that. Motivation or self-motivation means that we take responsibility for the outcomes. I'm not blaming it on other people. And it's an easy game to get into, blaming somebody else. This went wrong because they ruined my day. This went wrong because they cut me off. Okay? We need to take responsibility for those emotions and not blame them on other people. Self-motivation enhances productivity. I'm the one that's deciding I'm going to get this done. And I'm the one that says, I can do this. I want this. I need this. So by saying I'm taking responsibility for those things. Decision-making is a very important soft skill. Decision-making should be based on why. Why am I doing this? And we can drill that down. I used to do this with actors all the time. They did this and I'd say, okay, what's your verb? And they say, my verb is to convince. And I would say, why? Why do you want to convince? Because I want them to buy this. Okay, why? Why do you want them to buy this? I want them to buy this so that I will be more successful. Okay. Now we've drilled it down and we've figured out our why. I think we would all do pretty well to figure out, why am I doing what I'm doing with my life? Why am I dating this person? Why is this my career? Why aren't I letting that person know how I really feel? Why am I taking this junk that other people are handing me? When we look at our whys, we have to look at what our values are. And we behave based on our values. And one of the things that will help us create better values is to write a personal mission statement. We all know our businesses and companies have vision statements. It helps unite people. This is our vision. This is our mission. This is why we do what we do. But we have to look at ourselves and say, why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? What difference do I want to make in the world? Because if we don't know why we're doing something, if we don't have a personal mission, then we kind of are a weather vane. We're left up to the wind. So our vision, our personal mission can give us that kind of guidance. And it helps us create progress. If I know why I'm doing something, I can get in there and I can pursue it better. Along with decision-making comes problem solving. We can weigh the pros and the cons. Sometimes we feel emotionally about a certain thing, but I really want that. And then you go, yeah, but is that going to be good for me? I really want this. Yeah, but am I going to be hurting other people by doing this? I really don't want to do this. Why? Well, because it means I got to do some extra work, but that extra work will get me what I want, and then I'll be more happy. So if we examine the pros and cons, we can be better problem solvers. And we can also identify challenges better. And if we know what we're up against, we can fight it better. We can combat all the things that are preventing us from overcoming that challenge, and we can respond better to change. Change isn't bad. I know some people avoid change like the plague, but change can actually be good. You get a change in leadership, and they bring new breath to it. We bring new life to things. And problem solving can help us think more creatively. If we look at solving a problem the same way, then we get the same results, which might not be good results. But if we look at it from an entirely different perspective, sometimes that may be, well, let's ask the employees what they think. Whoa. You mean as the leader, I don't just get to tell people what to do? What if I ask the employees? They're the ones that it affects more than anyone. So if I ask the employees, maybe they have some creative solutions, but nobody asked them before. Another great cognitive soft skill is positivity. Positivity moves us towards solutions rather than moving us away from the problem. If we're focused on problems, like let's say, for example, my problem, the one that I want to fix is I want to get out of debt. Well, that sounds like a good fix. That sounds like a good thing to do, but I'm focused on the debt. So instead of thinking about debt, think about abundance maybe. So I'm moving toward a solution rather than away from a problem. Also, positivity helps us develop a positive mindset, always improving. If something goes wrong, how can I improve on it? If something goes wrong, how can I improve on it? Because if we dwell on what didn't go well, we're still living in that problem mindset. Positivity can help us overcome doubts and fears. Sometimes those doubts and fears are irrational, but if we're positive, maybe we can look past them, and overall it can improve our mental health. And one of the fun things about positivity is that it's infectious. I remember being in a card shop many years ago, and I was in a different aisle, and there were these two women in evidently the aisle that had the humorous cards, and they started laughing out of control. And I couldn't help it. I just started laughing as well. You know, when you hear somebody laugh a certain way, sometimes it gets a little infectious. So I'm not talking about diseases, I'm talking about positive infection. And then we have resilience. Not everything is going to go right. Some things are going to go wrong, and that's just the way life is. But if we're strong and we can develop the ability to bounce back, then we can make up for dropping the ball. Okay, sometimes when somebody fumbles the football, we're thinking, oh no. And then that just made them angry. And then they came up with a solution and they had resilience and they bounced back and we won the game. So we can't let everything get us down. Sometimes we just have to say, things go wrong. And what can I do to make them go right? We can learn more from failure than from success. When things go wrong, we examine it and we go, why did it go wrong? Was it me? Was it somebody else? Did we analyze something wrongly? So we learn from it. If something goes right, we tend to just go, great. Now, what we could do is when things go right, we could analyze them and we could say, why did it go so well? What did I do yesterday that put me in the greatest frame of mind to make sure that I could be successful at doing that? And I can examine that and then I can repeat that. So we don't just learn from failures, we can learn from successes. Resilience also helps us overcome discouragement. Discouragement can really take a toll on us if we let it, but if we don't let it, we can get past it. Another great cognitive soft skill is initiative. I have a word for this. I call it going somewhere-ness. And that going somewhere-ness is I'm focused on where this is heading. Sometimes when I watch movies and I see a crowd scene, it looks like the people are walking the way that they're walking because the director told them to take up time and take up space and move from here to there because they were part of the background. But if you really look at people, say, walking through an airport, they've got purpose. They're going somewhere. They're trying to catch a plane. They're late or whatever. They've got purpose. That's initiative. It's that going somewhere-ness, not relying on others for motivation, but relying on yourselves and being proactive instead of reactive. Make the decision ahead of something going. Don't wait for something to go wrong to decide you need to fix your life. Creativity is a great soft skill. I hear people all the time say, yeah, but I'm not creative. Yeah, but I'm not creative. And I have to disagree with that. You may not be artistic, but everyone is creative. If you've ever had an idea and then that idea came to fruition, you're creative. You had an idea, you did what it took, and you made that thing come to be. That's creativity. And people that are creative because they believe they're creative. I believe I'm creative, so I'm telling my mind to do creative things. If I think I'm not creative, I'm basically telling my mind, don't do creative things. I'm not good enough. But it all depends on our self-talk, what we say to ourselves. And if you think you're creative, then you're setting up the game to give you creative results. Learning agility. It's an interesting term, learning agility. It means that you can rapidly learn things. Some people think they're just fast learners, but I think people that are fast learners have learned to learn fast. Sometimes when we're put in situations and we have no choice, we come up with all kinds of answers because we don't have a choice. We have learning agility. And it means that we can apply the lessons we learn to new situations in life, and that enhances problem solving. We've all heard the term carpe diem, seize the day. When we have learning agility, it means that when an opportunity comes, we seize it. We don't sit there and go, well, there's an opportunity knocking on my door. What should I do? Should I do it? And people that have learning agility are already out the door and have acted upon that. A really fun soft skill is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is another one of those things that it can catch from one person to another. When somebody's enthusiastic and I'm around that, I kind of want to be like that. I like that enthusiasm. And I like when I feel enthusiastic. And when I'm enthusiastic, as a leader, especially when I'm enthusiastic, I can create other people to be enthusiastic. It creates eagerness. And when we're eager, we want something and we go after it. It boosts motivation and it increases our commitment. And the best thing that it can do is that it can inspire other people. And when people are inspired, they're more productive, they're having more fun, they have more job satisfaction, their lives are better. Time management is an easy soft skill. Okay, if we have time management, it means we know how to prioritize things. This is more important than that. We're making a lot of quick decisions when we do time management rather than sitting. Now, some things are worth pondering over. Big decisions like that, how they're going to affect other people. But I think we all spend too much time trying to manage our time when we know what we should be doing. One of the easy things to do with time management is to break big goals into smaller goals. Break them into smaller bite-sized pieces that you can accomplish. When we accomplish goals, it gets our engine going. And the more our engine's going, the more we can accomplish. And the more we can accomplish, the more our engine keeps going. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-kindness, I think, is a great soft skill to end on. Sometimes we do things to ourselves that we wouldn't do or say to other people. We can be kinder to ourselves. We can show ourselves more compassion, and that will help boost our self-esteem. Self-esteem can get us through a lot of problems, get us through a lot of issues. It will reduce our stress, and it improves our self-confidence. So we can be much kinder to ourselves. So I think we've realized how thinking is one of the most important soft skills that we have. It creates all of our results. All of our results didn't happen by accident. They happened because we thought about how to do them. We thought about what we wanted to be. We thought about the way to get there. Thinking impacts every single area of our lives, from what we look like to who we hang out with to how much money we make. And thinking is completely at our command. Nobody is inside your head doing your thinking for you. So if the thinking is left up to you, you can do whatever you think you can do. So think you can do the best things. Those people who engineer their thinking achieve self-actualization. They become what they want to become. They have higher self-esteem, and they enjoy life more. And we all want to enjoy life more. So that's our wrap up today for cognitive soft skills. Thank you for joining me on Soft Skills, Strong Results. I'm Charlie Krebs. Remember, soft skills are the human side of success. Thank you.